Hello gamers and welcome back to the games. Chilling out at the bar with you guys. Thank you so much for all the support lately. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about numbers. Oh my god, I'm going to go to sleep. He's talking about numbers. No, it's okay. It's really interesting because we're talking about ship sales. We've been doing it a while here on the channel. And I wanted to bring something to you guys' attention. This particular graph right here is very interesting, and this is at the root of what we're talking about, of wanting player-driven economies over SIG just being able to carte blanche post in values. A lot of people are saying these are just placeholder prices. I think they're going to be more than just placeholder prices. I really think that SIG's going to grip onto that ship revenue that they need so badly to continue to remain afloat as a business. Yes, they will probably cut back and scale down their operations, and in fact I have some proof that I think might confirm the fact that after the game is released they will in fact do that, and what they're going to do is going to be very interesting. So I've got an interesting take on that from a filing that I've seen. We won't get into that right now. We'll get that to the end of the video, but let's talk about the in-game numbers first and your real life money. So we see here the pledge cost of all the different examples of ships here. You're seeing, like, for instance, the Dragonfly costing $40 and that equaling UEC of 40,000 credits, right? I mean, like, you can buy credits. They'll continue to sell credits after the game. They've already said that. We've talked about the videos. Plenty of people talking about, hey, don't worry about the revenue, DG. Ships aren't that big of a deal. Okay, whatever. And Squadron 42 might bring a lot more money into the game, but it's going to be like short bursts. Yes, there's going to be multiple episodes. Yes, it will be a lot of money. I'm not debating that at all. But as far as their real breadwinner, as far as what they're going to continue to survive upon as a company, is going to be ship sales. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's important to have a player-driven market. We can see here the actual cost of the ships, or the pledge amounts of the ships, and the reasons why people who actually pledge and confuse the fact that the pledges were purchases, which they were not purchases, they were pledges, and this class of people that have really sunk a lot of money in pledges into these ships, who have now thinking that these are purchases and don't want, like, simple plebs like us to get into the game and be able to buy these ships with credits really easily, because they want theirs to be, you know, exclusive since they've spent so much money, which is really kind of an elitist kind of attitude, if you ask me. But you're looking at basically a multiple that is very scary, a valuation multiple that is very scary. What are you talking about, DG? What are you talking about? Well, let's take an example. Let's look at the Dragonfly first here. $40 for the Dragonfly. 40,000 is the cost of $40. Okay, that's what it, like, if you bought UEC, it would be 40,000 credits. For $40 you get 40,000 credits. But look at the price of the ship. Okay, now these are, again, you know, this is all relative to the fact that things might change down the road. The economy itself might change, but only because of videos like this, only because of talking and dialogue like this will it change. And that's why it's important to talk about this now, while they are in the process of doing this, you know, while they are in the process of designing the economy. It is very important to talk about this. And it's important to kind of spearhead this kind of movement against SIG, so that we have more control in the marketplace, so that we don't have crazy multiples like these. If SIG is able to plug in whatever price they want the AI to be programmed at, then this is kind of the pricing we're going to get. And these are the kind of valuations that we will get that are crazy multiples higher than the amount of money we're actually spending for the credits in the game. So $40 equals 40,000 credits is what we get. And yet a Dragonfly is 74,800 credits as far as the placeholder price right now. And this placeholder price is up for debate. It could change based upon the components of the items that make the ship. Yes, we know this, but those items also are subject to valuation of the NPC, of the AI, and we won't really have any control of that. And that's, you know, kind of worrisome to people who are spending real life money and getting this kind of valuation. You can see the multiples go ridiculous as you get to the Hammerhead. Look at the Hammerhead. People are buying it for $725 for a pledge. They're pledging it and they're getting it as a gift. They're not really buying the ship, they're pledging. And this is why it's important to differentiate pledging versus purchasing, right? you're not really purchasing the ship with real life money. You're pledging and you're getting the ship as a gift. And that's why people are, there's this kind of fight going on, and people need to realize to kind of hold off and be careful, because a lot of these ships will be available in game. But look at the prices in game. And the point is this: the prices are multiples higher because they want it to be more difficult to get these types of ships. But the discrepancy in the whole flaw of this is that people are saying, wait a second, look at the UEC that we're getting for our money versus the ship cost. They're trying to equate the actual UEC cost from dollar or currency to UEC, and then they're taking that and they're saying, well, the UEC should also be relative to the actual cost of the ship. And that's not the way that it's going to be. And that's where the breakdown happens. And that's where people have to be concerned, because under a controlled market, under a AI NPC controlled market, pretty much they can make the price whatever they want it to be. And that's what is the worrisome part. And what I've been fighting for is a player controlled market, so that we can have more control over the valuations of the UEs, of the credits in game for the valuation of the ship, to be more reflective of a UEC cost, to be more reflective of a dollar to UEC cost. And this provides a balance, a checks and balances to it. I'm not expecting it to be instant gratification for players. I'm expecting it to be a long drawn out process. I'm expecting that probably what's going to happen is that there will be a lot of like 90-10 split, as we talk about, 90% NPC AI controlled market versus 10% of the of human player effect on the market. And I think over time you'll see like a decrease in the amount of AI control versus player control. But how SIG plans, or if they even intend to do that, is up to us to voice out against what we're seeing here. It's very important that we do. And people that say that it is not important, they don't know what they're talking about, and you should be concerned if somebody is telling you otherwise. That's very irresponsible as a content creator to tell you that this isn't important. It is absolutely important, and this is another argument for player-controlled economies. Now, I just wanted to show that, and I wanted to share that with you guys so you can see it right here. And please share it around so people can understand what we're talking about. It's important as a community that we talk about this rationally, and we can all be civil on this channel. We're having wonderful talks here, great civil debates. They're constructive, and it's wonderful to have such a great audience that listens to one another and doesn't yell at other people and say, you're wrong and I'm right, and blah, 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 blah. We're always open-minded. We always listen here. That's why I love you guys. Now, I also did this particular video here. Let me see here if I can pull this up here. And this was a video I had done back in March, and we talked about the best guesstimates that we could get for the operations in the US when it came to Cloud Empyrean Games. And what's interesting is down below in the description I have a link for the actual earnings, the filings that SIG filed with the UK government, Foundry 42. And there was a couple things that were concerning to me. Let's look at that right now. Hold on one moment, guys. See if I can get over into that here. And these particular what I gauge from this is that they're switching operations from basically the US to the UK. And it makes a lot of sense, because if you think about it, the US, to do business in the US is really expensive. Our tax regulations here are ridiculous. It's so expensive and costly to run anything in the United States, like twice as much usually here in the States as it is in other countries. And what I see happening in 2019 going forward, and I think that others would agree with me, and this is also you know, a consensus of people that know what they're talking about when they look at the financials, is that you're going to start to see the United States offices in Texas and California start to be gutted, and the personnel will start to just, it's stagnant, and you're going to see a lot more hirings in the UK. in those particular areas in overseas, because it's less costly. I did see some discrepancies on the report. It's a bit concerning to me. And I'll put it down there for you guys to review, and that's about all I'll get into it. I might do a whole nother video on this because there's a lot of interesting things to get into, but it might be a little bit too lengthy for this particular type of video. But I want you guys to check that out. For those of you that are interested in the real life numbers, the description has a link to these particular documents. You can see the filings. You can tell for yourself. I think that's very important for people who are backing the game. And it's a kind of a good outlier and identifier as to what might happen in the future, and pretty cool. Now, one last thing I want to talk about, and those are the Citizencon numbers. And let's see if I can pull that up. Here we go. This was really an eye-opener to me. This is really interesting. As you can see, the purple line here, the Citcon, these are revenue for Citizencon here. And what you can see is that the Citcon was actually in 2018 not doing so well. And if you think about it, it makes complete sense, because I think they kind of screwed the promotional aspect of it up, and it wasn't doing good until right about the very end of it, before you see like this spike up in numbers. And I think that's just because of the Kraken, and I think it's a lot of whales moving in, buying like larger ships, and it ended up doing pretty damn good. And you know, these ship sales will continue. This cycle of ship sales will continue for as long as the whales keep putting money into the game. And hopefully some of the whales will look at the financials that I linked down below and kind of, you know, look at it and say, hey, you know, should I be careful about investing or not investing? Should I be careful about pledging or not? It's an investment as far as that is an emotional investment. We had a whole another video about investment, if this was an investment. My answer to that is it is an emotional investment, not necessarily a financial investment, because you don't own any shares. But anyhow, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was actually very helpful for you. And I would love to hear what your guys' viewpoints on this is. I think personally that there's some headwinds here that SIG are going to get into that might be a little bit troublesome from the reports that I looked at. And as always, I'm just going to report it as is, you know, for good or for bad. And would love to hear what you guys have to say about it, because that's what I do here. Sometimes it's at my own expense because everybody wants to hear good news all the time. But I'm just reporting it the way that it is, the way that it should be, because I care about gamers, because I care about people that are involved in this. And sometimes it's good to hear all sides and to be very open-minded, especially where your money's concerned. So thank you very much for all your support. Consider going to my Patreon page if you like the content, if you want the content to continue, if you want me to be motivated, if you want me to feel happy. If you want me to feel sad, troll me and say terrible things about me. I at least have 3 or 4 comments I got to delete daily. And you know, the drama never stops for me. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next vid. Thanks so much, guys.